Spring break is in session because class is out, but recruiting never stops in Tuscaloosa. And Coach DeBoer trying to keep those guys, the three that were handed to him by the master Nick Saban himself, including Anthony Rogers from Montgomery, took a trip to Auburn. We're going to talk about the running back. Four-star wide receiver Travis Smith, loving Alabama. We're going to get into that. And Nate Oats with a contract extension before schools like Louisville and Michigan could swoop in and hire Alabama's basketball coach away. All that right here on Bama Tailgate Daily. Like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Let's get this show started. Hit the bell so you know when we're throwing out new content. Roll Tide, everybody. Let's get this thing going. What do you say, everybody? I'm Mick Gillispie. That's Brett Elmore. You know him on the show as Big Sexy Elmo or at Brett Elmore Show. And I'm at Broadcaster Mick on the socials. Brett, good to see you, my friend. Roll Tide.
Good to see you, Roll Tide. It seems like you're feeling a little better.
You know, I'm getting there. I've got a toddy right here, a hot toddy, just to try to keep the Vokes going, but the fever's gone. And I'm hoping that I don't have a third illness in the next week or two. You know, did the neurovirus. That was awful. That was when you were at my house. Mm-hmm. Then spring training, come back, the flu. You know, so maybe, let's try to stay away from some kind of COVID or whatever else might be floating around right now. But I'm starting to feel better again.
Well, good.
Yeah, thanks.
But roll Tide to you, and welcome to the weekend. Spring break, like you mentioned, in the Open is just about over with for the Alabama students, and they're heading back and probably not feeling the best in the world because they probably didn't sleep much.
Right.
But
hangovers.
We'll get back. Yeah.
But you can always use the excuse that I do conveniently. I've got terrible allergies.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. But I think they returned to the practice field, Tuesday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when they do that, they'll be working towards that 8A game, and we're excited to be covering that, right? Yep. But before we get there, let's talk about one of the three guys that Coach DeBoer and his staff inherited, and that's Anthony Rogers, running back out of Montgomery, Alabama. Saban handed him over, and he took a visit to enemy territory. He went to Auburn and had some comments about that visit. I'm going to talk about those, but first, give us some background on Rogers, a four-star.
Rogers, he plays. Well, he's going to be playing for Carver Montgomery. He was at IMG down in Florida for his junior year, and before that, he attended Pike Road during his freshman and sophomore years. And Pike Road traditionally has a pretty good program, so he was a part of that. Good football player. I mean, just everything that you read about the guy. He's a slasher. He's a great runner. Getting glowing reviews. I mean, in his first 2 years at Pike Road, he totaled up over 2,700 yards and 40 touchdowns on the ground.
Wow.
That's a little over 9 yards a carry.
Yeah.
I mean, you average that, you're going to have a lot of success. Then he transferred to IMG, and now he's back, and he's at Carver and Montgomery. Quick as a hiccup, man. 4.48 in the 40-yard dash.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a good one that, but, a lot of folks are really, he's a pretty hard commit to Alabama, but then again, like you say, he's kind of still out there a little bit.
Yeah, he said he's still committed to Alabama, but he wanted to see what other schools had to say. Robert Gillispie has been recruiting him for a long time. He's got a great relationship with the Bama running backs coach. And so I'm not sure if were worried or not that he would leave. I mean, I guess I would probably do the same thing if I was in his spot, is get out there and, and just see what is what, right? I mean, are you sure that
I,
this is where you want to be, or do you want to check something else out? It isn't Nick Saban. Obviously, it's Coach
right.
DeBoer. But at the same time, it's a priority for Alabama, the university, to get the in-state star players, and he's one of those guys, and he's committed, so you just don't want to let him off the hook.
No, you don't. But and let me just go ahead and say straight up, I'm not saying this guy's doing this, but in the age that we live in with NIL, you almost instantly think now, and this is just how the game has changed. Yeah, I'm committed to Alabama, but I want to see what else is out there.
Right.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Does you know what I'm saying? Does that mean more
Like,
money?
who's got more cash?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, that's just the day and age that we live in now with the NIL. And like I said, I'm not saying he's doing that. I'm not saying that, but
Well,
when
it
that
happens all the time, though.
happens all the time,
Yeah.
but now, where 5 years ago I probably would have just said, oh well, whatever, he's just exploring his options. But now, whenever someone says that, I just think, somebody offering him a better car. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's part of life right now in college
It
football until they
is.
get it figured out, right?
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on Anthony Rogers. How about this guy? This is a guy out of I want to say Atlanta, but Westlake, Georgia. And his name's Travis Smith. He's a 4-star. He's got his official visit set up for my birthday, which is June 14th through the 16th. And he is really enjoying Alabama. I mean, like, he's been there for a couple visits. His parents love it. Brought his granddad to that Friday practice that everybody else was there for. So I love it when you see people that just get the fever, the Alabama fever, and he seems like he's kind of getting that.
Yeah, it is. It is fun to see. Now, is your birthday June 14th or June 14th through the 16th? Do you celebrate?
I usually do a whole weekend. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we can go with that. But yeah, he's out of Atlanta. A lot of folks think that he may stay home because Georgia is on the list. But Tennessee has been after him, Auburn, Alabama. But he's just that guy that's like a prototypical wide receiver because he's like 6'4", 191 pounds, and plays the position well. He can climb the ladder and get the high balls, and he's a matchup nightmare on Friday nights for those schools over in Georgia. So he is considered to be one of the best receivers in the Deep South.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see if Alabama pulls him in, but DeBoer really likes him. He's enjoyed getting to know Jamarcus Shepard. And I'm getting the idea that Shepard and DeBoer, kind of the receiver combo that Alabama has, really connect with these guys, because you can just tell when you hear what they have to say, you talk to their coaches, that they're enjoying their visit to Tuscaloosa, and they speak the same language, that receiver language.
Yeah, and we compared it, or I did a few shows ago, to Coach Saban with the defensive backs. I mean, that was his thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he kind of enjoys it, and having all those guys on campus. And we talked about it right after that practice where he had like 70 players there, that we're going to start seeing a lot of news come out of that, because and we have, so it's great to be an Alabama fan, and especially a football fan, but even better with basketball right now.
Yeah, right. Well, let's switch gears and talk about Nate Oats. Got a contract extension. Louisville fired their coach. And Nate Oats was one of the people that they were interested in. Now, he had a $12 million buyout, but you talk about how important basketball is, not just to the university, but also to Louisville, the city. They can't miss on the hire. And I thought, if I'm them, I mean, 12 million is a lot, but you know what? It's not that much if he comes in and can get that program back to prominence, right? So what did Alabama do? They came out and they extended him. And plus, he's from Michigan or that area. And Michigan fired Juwan Howard, their coach. That job's open. So there's competition now for Nate Oats. I wonder if this is a move to keep, if he's staying move, or if this is a preemptive move where you're hoping that he doesn't leave.
I think he's staying. They've already extended him twice heading into his 5th season. Yeah, I believe he's going to stay. I mean, 113-52 record in 5 seasons, 2 conference regular season championships, and 2 tournament wins in 01 and in 21 and 23. But yeah, and I was looking at the list earlier today because we had talked earlier today about this subject, or yesterday. I'm sorry, we talked yesterday about it, and I looked up and just kind of just see where his salary compared to other coaches, and he was in the top 10 nationally, but he was like 9th, and I think he was 4th in the SEC.
Right.
No, I think he was 3rd in the SEC. But anyway, the buyout of his old contract amounted to $25.3 million.
Wow.
And to put this into perspective, it's like, well, we don't know the details of the contract. It's supposed to be approved next week by the board, but I'm thinking he the 5th highest paid coach was Rick Barnes at Tennessee in the country. So he's making right at about $6 million. So you might as well go ahead and say that he went from $4.5 million to about $6 million probably. And I think that's fair enough.
To me, it wouldn't have been about the money to me that he's making. To me, it's about the facility. Because if Alabama doesn't figure out a way to upgrade that facility, there's only so far you can take it. It's just the way it is. There's no luxury boxes. The fans are way far away. The way that the arena kind of arcs back, it's just not a good place to go watch a game. And you're competing with teams like Tennessee and Arkansas that have amazing arenas. And if he went to Louisville for that job, he'd have one of the best programs in the country. He could basically do anything he wanted in the whole city. He'd be like Coach Saban in Tuscaloosa with football because that's how much they love basketball. With that said, I don't want to see him go.
I don't either.
And I want to see Alabama turn themselves into a school that does both. You remember the days where Florida won the national championship in football and basketball? It can be done. Ohio State did it, so right? It wasn't Ohio State the one that did it too?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Maybe they did. I don't know. But anyway, it's possible.
It is. And Louisville wants to make a big splash with a hire. Of course, basketball's huge in the state of Kentucky. And guess who? The Kentucky Wildcats there at Lexington and Calipari over there. But, they lost in the tournament last night. It's they're going to be looking to make a big splash because they need to, because at Louisville, it needs to return to that prominence, like you mentioned, because they just haven't been there. But this is good news for Alabama basketball. I think he's going to stay around and hopefully they'll give him the facilities that he needs.
Yeah, it was Florida, and maybe it was just Florida. I don't know. Just looking on here quickly. It doesn't happen a lot.
Won them both though one year.
Well, Michigan's won national championships in basketball and in football, right? I mean, they've definitely done it. So, but it really takes a special. You got to have all the right ingredients, and starts with coaching, right? I mean, the guy's done an amazing job. Because every year it's like he goes out and then he's got to like bring in a whole new team. It feels like, right? He's constantly recruiting, and then the team's different year to year, but they're always pretty good. The second highest scoring team in the country. They don't play enough defense, but you know what? If they shoot, they can beat anyone. They're fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
This isn't like watching when Hobbs was coaching, and Godfrey, where you're trying to score some points. And Gottfried had some good years, but it wasn't about putting the ball in the basket.
Yeah.
This guy just, they fill it up, so they're fun to watch. So I'm glad he's staying. He's by far, to me, and I came after the Wimp Sanderson days, but he's by far the best coach that Alabama's had in time that I've been watching, by far.
Yeah, by far. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Well, Brett, you're off for the weekend, so no one can listen to you on the Brett Elmore Show on WJLX until Monday morning. But they can catch you tomorrow, the most famous show on YouTube on Sunday, Sunday Rollback. We'll see if we can get Catfish. I haven't heard from Catfish all week, by the way.
Where is Catfish at?
I don't know. He's just been down in his hole somewhere. Like, like I see he's busy with his mortgage videos.
Yeah. We'll get him.
What's that?
I said we'll get him on tomorrow. Hopefully,
we'll noodle him out.
We'll noodle him out. And
that's right.
I know he's still alive because he liked one of my posts on Facebook. So
good.
He's just been under the radar, but he'll come out probably tomorrow and play with his friends and talk football.
All right, guys. Hey, like and subscribe. Get in the comments section. Roll Tide, everybody. And we will talk to you tomorrow for Sunday Rollback. Roll Tide.